My 100.1 KOMC FM alongside Nerd Informants Media bringing you another exclusive interview, and we are delighted to have some time this morning to be talking about quite possibly the biggest film of the entire year, and it drops officially on Netflix today. We're talking the film Red Notice from director Rawson Marshall Thurber. He's got himself an all-star cast, bigger than life, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, Gal Gadot, and Ryan Reynolds, and we have got the man himself, the director behind the film. Rawson, good morning. Welcome to the show.
Thanks, Josh. Happy to be here. I appreciate you having me.
It is awesome to have you on the show, Rawson. And first things first, I got to tell you, again, I have to compliment you bringing Red Notice to the masses. And the best part for me, I'm multitasking this morning because doing a live radio show and watching the film at the exact same time, that's just how you roll.
Oh, my, oh my God. Oh, my God. You're a jack of all trades. Good luck.
Yeah, totally, man. And Rawson, for this particular film, really just gargantuan level talent on this film, but bringing it and getting it out and getting it released was not exactly an easy journey. Talk to me about that process. There was a lot going on between budgets and Universal and Netflix. How easy or how difficult was that?
Well, I mean, it's always a challenge to make any movie, whether it's $1 million budget or $100 million budget, and Red Notice is no exception. I mean, I'm sure, as you know. So we were originally scheduled to make this movie with Universal, but as we developed the story, it became really clear that Universal and the creative team had sort of different ideas about the scope and scale of the film and what we were trying to achieve. And so it was that, it's a very rare conversation and a very hard conversation where, we're both parties, because we'd all made movies with Universal. They knew us, we knew them. There's a lot of goodwill and a lot of love there. And we just had to have a straight conversation with them and they with us, where we said, look, we want to make it like this. And they said, we don't want to make it like that. And then we said, okay, so we'd like to see if somebody wants to make it the way we want to make it. And Netflix did, and they were so excited. And Universal was incredibly classy about the whole thing, and they let us take it from their slate to Netflix's slate. And that doesn't always happen. Studios don't have to let you do it. They could have just sat on Red Notice and never let it see the light of day. But they were super cool about it, and thank goodness. And so then we went to Netflix with Fit, and then we faced other challenges after making the film, of course.
Well, and I had seen that the budget was large for the particular film, and there was a funny story, at least that's been going around the internet, and I've got to ask you if it's true. Did the price tag go up because of all the goofing around that Ryan, Dwayne, and Gal were doing on set? Is that true?
That's not true. That's not true. I mean, it was certainly a lot of fun, but I don't think it cost us $1 more because those guys kept yucking it up. No, the budget went up significantly, of course, because of COVID. We were about halfway through shooting, almost to the day, when we shut down for 6 months. And then came back and had to figure out how to shoot a movie of this scale during a global pandemic where there was no vaccine and no real protocols in terms of how to make a film, under these guidelines. So, an incredible logistical challenge, an incredible creative challenge. We couldn't go around the world anymore. We'd planned on shooting, all over the globe, and we couldn't leave Atlanta. And so that changed creatively. It changed execution-wise. It changed the budget. So a big portion of the increase in what ended up being the final number, which I still actually don't know what the final number was because of COVID.
Well, in the face of the monumental challenges, I mean, all of that rolling into one, I will just say this: you stuck the landing, because for this, it's a global heist adventure, and as I understand, it really is a mashup of films that really served as an inspiration for you growing up, a little bit of an homage. Is it correct to say that there's influences from National Treasure, The Thomas Crown Affair, Raiders of the Lost Ark, all rolled into one with this?
Yeah, you hit them all, Josh, for sure. That's those are there. I would say a little Ocean's 11, if I may, and True Lies, which is a great James Cameron picture.
Yes.
So a bunch of that stuff all kind of rolled up into with one big sort of Red Notice bow tied over it.
And you're a superhero in your own right, and this is another compliment I'm going to pay on you. You actually you brought DC and Marvel together in the film universe, and you're a hero for that.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. You're welcome, world. Yeah. Well, I mean, don't get me started. DC Marvel crossover. Let's get the rumor started now. Let's do it.
Let's make it happen. Hey, and I want to ask you as well. This will be a fun way to kind of wrap it, because I'm trying to be paying attention to my time here on your tour, Rawson. But
sure.
As well too, there's some funny stories as far as how you got this cast together. I mean, it's a big get list for you as a director to go out and say, I'm going to go after like literally the biggest guy in Hollywood. I'm going to go out and I'm going to get Gal, and I'm going to go out and get Ryan and bring them all together. What was the process like for reaching out and getting your cast together? Obviously, the third collaboration for you and Dwayne Johnson. What were those conversations like, and how did you bring it all together?
A great question. So I was making a movie with Dwayne called Skyscraper. We were up in Vancouver, and as we were making that movie, I was tinkering in the back of my mind with Red Notice. I was like, I think I want to do this, because whenever you're making a movie, it's such a pain in the ass. All you think about is like, another idea that has no problems yet, right? You always want to think about the next one. So anyways, I took Dwayne and I went out to dinner, and I told him the story of Red Notice, and he said, I love it, I'm in. And, and when the biggest movie star in the world, according to the Body Mass Index, says he wants to be in your movie, you better start writing. And so I had only wanted Gal Gadot in the film. There's no other person. So I flew to London to meet with her. Flew there and met with her. I was only there for like 18 hours. I think she was shooting Wonder Woman 2 at the time. We sat down and I pitched her the story for Red Notice, and she said, I love it, I'm in. And then I said about writing the script itself, and I wrote the script, and I'd known Ryan, for a decade in passing, and always wanted to work with him, and he was the only person I had in mind for his role. And so I wrote the script with his sort of voice in my ear as best as I could approximate it. And I sent him the script when I finished, and he read it overnight and said yes the next morning. And there you have it. I had all three of my first choices in the film. There was never a second choice, and we never had to find out who would that have been.
And it's crazy for me as well. I've got to ask about Ryan as far as courting him and getting him set for this particular film. As I understand it, and you got to elaborate on this one, there was some text messages, and tell me about Bea Arthur. How did she get involved with that?
I should have kept my dumb mouth shut when I said this the first time, but here we are. So I sent Ryan the script, and I said, look, you don't have to call me back, but if you're in, just send me a picture of a topless Bea Arthur, and I know you're down. And then I sent it to him on a Friday, but he was in London, I think, or overseas. I didn't know where. So I sent it to him Friday, and I went to sleep. And I woke up Saturday morning, and I turned my phone on, and a topless picture of Bea Arthur popped up on my screen, and I went running downstairs to my wife and said, Ryan's in, Ryan's in, Ryan's in.
Did you show her the picture of Bea Arthur?
I actually did. She rolled her eyes because that's my wife.
Oh, that is so cool. That right there just shows how strong a relationship you have with your better half. That's absolutely awesome. And real quick to wrap up too, Ross, and I've got to ask you about this because really, and I've said this before, the film is a technical feat. It is a visual feast. You literally go everywhere on the globe, and I love that about the film. As I understand too, on a technical side of things for you really, this is like legit stages, and is the percentage, it's all natural, like 97, 98%, and then there's like maybe 2% green screen? That's awesome.
Yeah, well, there are a lot of visual effects in the film, but we eschewed using green screen, which is a pretty standard way of comping shots. You have an actor or an object stand in front of a green screen, literally, and then the computer blocks out that color and replaces it for whatever else you want. That's the rough version of how green screen works. But there are problems with that because you get a lot of green contamination on the actors' faces. You don't have real light reflections, and also it's just kind of not fun to act against green screen. So our approach was to not use green screen and to rotoscope almost every single shot. So that's part of why I think the film looks as good as it does. We had an incredible cinematographer, Marcus Forder, and we had this incredible visual effects team led by ILM and Craig Tammick over there, and Richard Hoover, who won the Academy Award for Blade Runner 2049. So we had just a murderer's row of artists and technicians to help us execute this film at an incredibly high level, and I'm deeply, deeply proud of how it turned out and how it looked.
A young director in Hollywood that has made his mark. It has just been an absolute blitz in a few short years for you. Red Notice is out on Netflix right now. He's got his all-star cast intact. It's a fun, globe-trotting adventure with all the wit, the charm, the comedic timing of Ryan Reynolds, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and Gal Gadot. Rawson, you've got every reason to be proud. Congratulations on making it to the finish line. It's a fun movie. I cannot wait to watch the rest of it.
Oh, thank you so much. Enjoy it. I appreciate your time.
Will do, Rawson. Take care.
Cheers.